G'day there, it's Doug from Junior's Auto Service. Excuse my voice, I have a terrible cold. We're here working on an 04 F350 with a 6-liter diesel. It was a no start, pulled it off the highway. Had code P2614 P2617 in it, calling the cam and crank sensor. Those are the first two codes that popped up on it, and generally that happens on these engines from overcranking when it's a no start situation. They will throw you for a loop a lot. Generally, they're not the issue. I think I've only changed 2 crank sensors in my history of working on the 6-liter diesel. And cam sensors, I think I've only changed 1, only because it was on a lark, and it was not the actual problem. What you will find on the 6-liter is generally an injector has probably welded itself shut, and it is shorting out the FICM. You'll still have 48 volts on your FICM voltage, but it has actually shorted it out and it will not start. And when you crank it, it sounds like one of the pistons is trying to send itself backwards. On this one here, we had a code for cylinder 6, so we just disconnected it off the valve cover. Got the pin connector there. It's really hard to see, I'm sorry, but we disconnected it and cleared codes, and the truck fired right up. Mind you, it has an audible miss, and we were doing some work here on the fuel pressure regulator because this truck was ran dry, fuel twice, and that, as you know, the guys who drive it don't realize that when you run a diesel empty, it does a lot of damage to them. So we ended up putting a fuel pressure regulator on it, new filters, and that made no difference. I already knew what the issue was. It's just we did it anyway before we do any more damage to the truck. Here we are, new fuel in it, and just disconnected number 6, and away we go. She fired up. So if you ever get those 2 codes, 2614 2617, try to ignore them, and hopefully there's another code in your truck for an injector or something along those lines. What you can do is, if you have a more advanced scan tool, is do an injector buzz test if it will let you, and that generally will tell you what cylinder has failed, and then you can disconnect that corresponding injector and decipher your problem. Generally, this is what causes it, is a burnt injector. It is not the cam sensor or the crank sensor. It is generally, and almost every time, a burnt injector. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.